Welcome back, everyone. The first time Tyler heard it, he thought it was a mouse, a faint scuffing beneath the planks of the old farmhouse he'd just moved into. But mice don't drag things, and mice don't breathe. It was close to 2:14 a.m. when the sound came again, a slow, deliberate pull of something across raw wood directly under his bed. He held his breath, the way people do when they suddenly realize they're not alone in a dark room. Then came the breathing. Not frantic, not animal. Human slow, human weighted, as if lungs full of dust were working for the first time in years. Tyler pressed his ear to the floorboards, heart hammering so hard he almost drowned it out, but not enough. He could hear it clearly now. Exhale, drag, pause, exhale again. Like someone lying flat under the floor, inches below him, pacing their breath, waiting for him to notice. He jerked back to the headboard, fumbling for the lamp, but halfway through the motion, the breathing stopped. Not faded, not moved away, stopped. And from the exact spot under the floor, so close he could mark the spot with his fingertip, came 3 single, deliberate knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Then a voice, low, parched, and impossibly close, rose right beneath his mattress. "Don't turn on the light." Tyler froze for a few seconds, rooted in place. That voice hadn't sounded like a threat. It sounded like a command from something that had been waiting for him. The light was still off. The room was as black as the bottom of a well. The breathing beneath the floor started again, but this time it wasn't steady, as if whatever was down there was nervous, or trying not to make noise. Then it whispered again, closer to the wood, as if its mouth were pressed right against the plank. "It's still in the room." Tyler's jaw locked. His eyes were wide open in the dark, though he saw nothing. It? That meant there was something else, not just one. He held his breath and listened, and near the far end of the room, the floorboard let out a soft, slow creak, like a single, deliberate step, made so he would hear it. Not under the floor, not in the hallway, but inside the room, with him. Tyler stayed absolutely still. His pulse roared in his ears. The air felt thick, heavy, as if something was standing somewhere in the dark, not moving, just watching him. Then the voice beneath the floor whispered a third time, "It sees you. Don't turn your head." Tyler didn't dare move. Another breath, not from beneath him, but from the left corner of the room, at the height of a person's face. From the darkness, from something standing, slow, deep, with lungs and a throat, only a few feet away. In that moment, Tyler understood one thing with absolute clarity. The thing under the floor wasn't warning him about itself. It was warning him about what was already in the room with him. Tyler sat perfectly still, every muscle braced against instinct. He could feel the direction of that breath in the dark, the way you can feel someone's face near yours, even without touching. The voice under the floor spoke again, softer now, like it feared being overheard. "If you look at it, it moves." Tyler's scalp tightened. He didn't ask what it was. He could tell by the way the voice spoke that names were dangerous, that the thing in the room might answer to him. A long, slow scrape sounded from the corner. Not a step, not a stumble, more like nails trailing down a wall brick. not speaking with the tone of someone performing a ritual they've done before. You got what you wanted. Now you wait your turn. Tyler's blood ran cold. This wasn't a warning anymore. This sounded like a negotiation. From the corner came a low, guttural rasp. Not words, but the shape of something trying to form them, like a throat that hadn't spoken in decades relearning the idea of speech. Then, beneath the floorboards, something scraped. Not the dragging from before, but the sound of wood being pushed upward from below, as if floorboards were beginning to bow. The voice under the floor spoke again, firmer now, like it was reminding the thing of a pact. One at a time. That's the rule. The rasp in the dark cut off immediately. Obeying, Tyler finally understood. The thing on the floor wasn't protecting him. It was holding its place in line. There was an order to who got him, and he was next. A slick sound came from the corner, like something unfolding itself, peeling from the wall, bones or joints straightening after being crouched too long. Then, step. Not toward the door, not away. One single gentle step toward the bed. The voice below the floor spoke once more, low, resigned, like it was speaking the end of a script. Don't run. It smells that Tyler's throat tightened. He didn't move. The next footfall was closer, so close he could feel a shift in the air, a shadow bending in the dark. Whatever stood in that room had followed the rule. It waited, and now it was its turn. Tyler couldn't see it, but he could feel where it stood now, right at the foot of the bed. The mattress dipped. Not much, just enough to prove there was weight, real weight. The thing under the floor did not speak anymore. Its turn was over. For the first time, the thing above tried to speak, and what came out was a broken, wet syllable, dragged across cartilage and rot. Don't. It wasn't warning him. It was imitating, like a child repeating sounds it has overheard from humans. The bed shifted again. Something was climbing up. The air grew warmer, not body warm, but damp, like breath passing over exposed flesh. Tyler's fingers clawed the blanket without meaning to, every instinct screaming to run or thrash or scream, but the rule rang in his head like iron. If you move first, you're the one that keeps. The weight traveled slowly up the mattress, inch by inch, with the posture of something that had done this before and never once been interrupted. When it reached the height of his knees, it stopped. Silence, not even breath, as if it were listening. Then, from beneath the floorboards, 3 knocks again. Knock, knock, knock. Only now Tyler understood the meaning. Not a warning, not a signal of danger. Permission. Up on the bed, right beside his calves, the thing answered with 3 wet taps, not with knuckles, but with something soft and boneless. Thump, thump, thump. Then it began moving again, rolling higher toward his chest, slow, deliberate, patient, as if savoring the fact that this time it was its turn. The weight rolled higher, past his waist, and Tyler could feel the fabric of the blanket tighten as something pressed down over him from above, kneading the covers like fingers, testing the shape of a body. It stopped again at his ribs, not because it was unsure, but because it was waiting to see if he would break. Down on the floor, nothing moved, no breath, no voice. The one beneath had gone still, like a witness. The thing above lowered its face. Tyler couldn't see it, but he felt the temperature of it, the humid, radiating heat hovering inches above his chest. A filament of damp saliva, thick and slow, dripped through the blanket and touched his shirt. Tyler's spine arched on reflex, but he stopped himself a hair before moving. The voice under the floor finally returned, so soft it was almost inside his skull. "Don't flinch." The thing on the bed understood English. Tyler knew that now, because the second those words were spoken, it froze mid-movement, as if the rules applied to it too. For the briefest moment, neither creature nor man moved. Then, a sound like knuckles bending, and something slid up toward his collarbone, pushing the blanket with it. Tyler clenched his jaw until it hurt. He didn't move first. The floor beneath gave a long, low groan, wood under tension, as if the one below had pressed its entire body to the boards, listening. The thing above brought its mouth closer, so close Tyler could feel tiny droplets of moisture from its breath peppering his throat through the sheet. It inhaled, deep, learning his scent. Then, right beside his ear, in a voice that sounded like a throat imitating speech by memory, it whispered, not to warn him, not to threaten him, but to claim him. "You're mine now." Tyler didn't scream, didn't run, didn't even breathe wrong. He knew the rule. Whoever moves first loses. The thing lay half on top of him now, heavy as a corpse with heat and moisture like a body left in water too long. Its breath slid along his jawline through the blanket, slow and savoring. From beneath the floor, the voice spoke one last time, not warning him, not bargaining anymore, but announcing what came next, like a verdict. It won. Something inside Tyler broke at those two words. The thing above shifted, not lunging, not tearing, not violent, but settling, like it was claiming a permanent position. Its weight sank fully onto his chest, ribs groaning under the pressure, and then the blanket began to lower. Not pulled off quickly, but peeled back inch by inch, with the patience of something that wanted him to feel every moment of being revealed. Tyler kept his eyes shut at first, then the blanket passed his chin, then his lips, then his nose. Warm, wet breath washed directly over his face now. The thing waited, inches away, for him to look, because that was the end of the rule. Whoever looks first belongs. Tyler held out as long as a human being can hold out, until his eyelids trembled, burning, uncontrollable. And in the black silence of that room, just before he broke, there was a single sound. Not a scream, not a struggle, not a body dragged, just a soft exhale, like air leaving a pair of lungs that no longer needed to breathe on their own. Then the boards beneath the bed shifted, making room for something new to be kept beneath the floor. 3 days later, the building was completely sealed off. No one was allowed inside. The official reason was posted, structural hazard, but nobody believed it. People living nearby said that on the very night it was sealed, a light on the 7th floor hallway turned on. Even though the power had been cut, the whole block went silent. And then 3 knocks came from behind the taped-off door. Knock, knock, knock. Short, slow, unhurried. As if whatever was inside wasn't desperate, just waiting patiently for the right person to open. The last frame from the security guard's camera before signal loss showed an empty corridor, except for the far end of the wall, where something like a handprint had appeared. Unnaturally long, unnaturally high, still glistening as if freshly pressed there. Nobody said anything after that. Nobody wanted to. But anyone who walks past that street at night feels the same thing, that a pair of eyes in the dark is standing still, watching, as if it knows exactly where you are.